Welcome, replay viewers. Why did I just have a picture of a Nobot? That's an animated character from a Hershey movie that we saw in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I don't know. I was just feeling kind of kooky. Welcome to McKellar Monday Motivation, everybody. My name is Danica McKellar. I'm an actress, math book author, homeschooling mom, occasional bubble bath taker, and lover of Periscope. So, welcome. I hope your Monday is going great. How is everyone? You missed the popcorn. Oh, because I didn't do hashtag Oscars. Yes, the hashtag Oscars brought up popcorn yesterday, which was so much fun instead of just hearts. So that's always fun. So today we're going to talk about how to stop beating ourselves up. Does anybody else, first of all, anybody else beat yourself up unnecessarily? Hang on a second. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Didn't sleep well? Oh, yes. See, all the time. Me too. Okay, so why do we do this? Part of it is because, and by the way, thank you in advance to everybody who is sharing. I always appreciate it. It makes me so happy. Yes, Jessie, oh, I agree. It was it was a really cool day. So, yeah, so this is a problem for all of us because a lot of us are perfectionists. And what I want to focus on today, though, mostly is about judging ourselves and comparing ourselves to other people and then judging ourselves more. So, okay, I took some screen grabs of some quotes that I wanted to share with you guys. So the first one, this is, first of all, do you guys, any of you beat yourself up because of comparing yourself to other people? Anybody at all do this from time to time? Either somebody you see on television or somebody you know in your life? Yes, exactly. Thank you, Jess. I'm glad you liked the skit. That was really fun yesterday, by the way, doing that bubble bath thing. That was a good time. So this is a quote by Max Ehrmann, and this is what he says. You may have heard this before, but it's such a great reminder. If you compare yourself to others, you may become vain and bitter, for there will always be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Right? Always. Yes, I am an actress, Taylor. Yeah, so there's always going to be people who have more than you or who are more accomplished than you in a particular area or less accomplished. And so if you compare yourself to others, a lot of times we'll see people, oh, they have that and I don't have it. I feel so bad about myself. Or we watch these horrible reality television shows and say, oh, well, at least they have it worse than me. I guess I can feel okay about myself now. Well, that makes us vain, and it's just a crazy practice. But yes, comparing ourselves is so dangerous. And it leads immediately to judgment of ourselves, and then we get in a bad, what is this? Weird trolls today. That always happens when there's a surge of new viewers, by the way. We get more trolls, so I apologize for all that. But there's a really great quote that I also want to read. So that's about other people, right? Don't judge. And when you find yourself judging, think about that quote. There will always be people who have more and less than you. People who are more accomplished, more talented, and less. So if you find yourself comparing yourself to somebody and it's making you feel bad about yourself, or it's making you feel, I guess, vain, just go on the other side. Say, well, like today, my son was complaining about homeschooling. And I'm like, I know you don't like homeschooling sometimes. I mean, he didn't want to do any work at all, that is. I said, would you like to go to regular school? He's like, no. I said, Draco, you have a really good life. I was trying to imbue this you've got a really good life, and there are people who have a lot less than you do, right? So we can use that, right? We can use that to help us feel better if you have to. Even if you have to compare yourself on the other side of things to make yourself feel better, if that's making sense to you guys, you can use that and then let it go, because judging and comparing is not healthy. Let's see here. Another quote about this is, Deepak Chopra said this. He said, non-judgment quiets the internal dialogue, and this opens, once again, the doorway to creativity. So especially if you're trying to do something creative and you're judging yourself, you're just going to block up all the creative pathways and you're not going to get anywhere. So take a break, stop judging, say, you know what? I am exactly who I'm supposed to be right now, and I am exactly where I'm supposed to be in my life. Everything that I've done in my life has led me to this moment for a reason. And this is something from a book called The Four Agreements. Anybody here familiar with that book, The Four Agreements? It's pretty cool. It's yes, no, yes. Okay, check it out. It's called The Four Agreements. I don't want to get their name wrong. It's by Don Miguel Ruiz. So, you guys have never heard of this book? Oh my goodness. It's really, really useful. It's a short little book called The Four Agreements. Check it out on Amazon, and I think you're going to love it. The fourth agreement, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. This book is really, really wonderful. Check it out, The Four Agreements. You guys will thank me. It's an easy read. It's a short read, and it was really useful to me. I love that. I also love the Deepak Chopra's book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Another great one. Why am I in my car? Because I'm out doing things, and this is my one chance to do my McKellar Motivational Scope today, and I like to try to do that. The author again, Don Miguel Ruiz, R-U-I-Z. But if you just Google The Four Agreements, it'll come up. Thanks, guys. Yeah, and I mean, there's a ton of, positive self-talk, of course, is always useful. Yeah, not comparing yourselves to others. What else? Practice kindness. Something I've talked about before is about being our own best friend. Like if you were going to be helping somebody who had the problem that you have today, how could you help them? What would you do as their best friend to help them out? And then make sure that you're doing that for yourself. Just kind of an interesting perspective to have there. Yes, gratitude is also wonderful. Taking a moment and just recognizing the wonderful things you have in your life. But this is more about not beating ourselves up. Because you could say to yourself, well, gosh, I'm so grateful for what I have. And look, I'm not doing a good enough job with it. I'm so grateful to have this. And why am I messing it up? No, you're not messing it up. You are doing exactly your best that you can. And that is one of the ways to not judge yourself, is to make sure that you're doing your best in a reasonable way, not pushing yourself too hard. But be your own best friend. It is so hard for us to see ourselves objectively. Yes, I am on the West Coast. Oh, because it's light outside? Yeah. And you're right, this is not the race car driver. This is the other Danica. She's always beating herself up. DL Ray. A lot of people do. I do. We all do. And it's so important to take a moment and say, you know what, I'm not going to be operating at my full capacity if I keep beating myself up. I mean, if you had a friend who you were trying to help, would you keep beating them up? No. That's not going to help them. So anyway, yes, listen to the advice you teach your children. Absolutely. Well, moms, yeah. Okay, how many moms are here? How many moms are watching this scope right now? I'm one. Me, mom, me, yes, dad. And a lot of dads are doing what moms have always done now, which is trying to do it all. So, yes, do parents, age 6 and 9 and under, oh my goodness. Oh, 6 kids ages 9 and under? Oh my goodness, I cannot even imagine that. That is crazy. Social media causes people to compare. Probably. Social media is like any medium. It depends on how it's being used. Yeah, so anyway, moms tend to try to do everything and tend to be very unforgiving of ourselves because we expect that we're going to be just as good as all the stuff we did before we had kids, and then also be a super mom and do everything perfectly. It's just not going to happen every day. It's just not. Often internal qualities about oneself one hates. Well, that's something to look at. I mean, our internal qualities, those are those voices inside of our heads. And sometimes we have to retrain those voices to be more useful to us. Because this is your life. Right now. It's happening right now. What kind of voices do you hear in your head? What kind of messages are you telling yourself? What kind of self-talk are you doing? Be your best friend. Get inside your own head as your best friend. And what would you say? What would you tell your best friend who is struggling with what you're doing right now? How would you advise them to stop beating themselves up? What could they do instead of beating themselves up? Yes, create new neural pathways. Peas and carrots. Get pizza. Hey, if you love pizza and you need a splurge, go for it. Right, we want to be droid moms, exactly, and we cannot do that, Courtney. It is unreasonable to expect that we can do that. Striving to be our best? Absolutely. Trying new things, totally. Being open-minded. But we got to look at that schedule sometimes and say, wait, what did I plan for today? Let's try to be more reasonable. And sometimes sometimes I have to get sick before I will stop and just relax for a minute. And that's not good. So compare yourself to other ones. Yes, people who are joining in later, we've talked about not beating ourselves up by, first of all, not comparing ourselves to others, because that creates judgment in our heads. And then also the idea that, what would you, if you were looking at your best friend going through whatever you're going through, and then you're watching your best friend beat themselves up, or you were beating them up, you'd be like, no, you wouldn't do that. You'd say, this is not useful. What can we do instead? How can you be your own best friend? If you had a little kitten in your hands and the kitten was trying to learn how to walk or trying to do 3 things at the same time that was absolutely impossible, you would have compassion and love for that little kitten, and you would help it find its way. You wouldn't tell it, well, don't do anything, don't work, because no, the kitten needs to be a good, productive member of society. But what would you do? You'd come up with ways of helping that little kitten meet its goals in a reasonable way. So, what would you do? Yeah, what would you do today that your future self would thank you for? Yes, I love that too. Isn't what you're doing here trying for more hearts, etc.? Isn't that comparing yourselves to others? I don't know about that, Jonathan. I don't know. I appreciate the hearts, but I don't know that getting hearts is comparing ourselves to others. It's easier to coach others than ourselves, absolutely, which is why if you think of yourself as somebody else, if you can do that, and what would you do? What would you say to the other person? It might help you figure out the best course of action for yourself. Do I speak French? Je parle un peu de français. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Any random Q&A that you want to do? Do your math books good for kinder kids? My math books are for ages, the first one's called Math Doesn't Suck, and it's from ages 9 to 11. And then the next one's Kiss My Math, that's pre-algebra. Then there's the algebra book and geometry, so it goes through high school geometry. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Puppy. Cats belong in the barn. If you're a dog person, think of a puppy. If you're a cat person, think of a kitten. Hello, Ottawa, Canada. Brow game is strong. I'm probably leaning in that way. I always hold the camera too close to my face. My mom says, your head has a weird shape to it. It's because I'm holding it too close. Oh, you just got a puppy? Oh, cool. Awesome. Oh, thank you for being a teacher, DL Ray. Some advice on starting homeschooling. Oh, wonderful. There's so much stuff online for homeschooling. It's ridiculously easy these days. You can find workbooks, all different kinds of resources. I print out worksheets. I buy workbooks on Amazon. Sit down for a few hours a day, or even, at this age, it was probably just an hour or so. With my 5-year-old, we do little exercises in math and in reading comprehension and writing, and it's really fun. And because you can go to museums, you can go, take advantage of the homeschooling opportunity. It's a beautiful gift that you're able to give your child. And also, I would say, don't commit to necessarily doing it for their entire school career. Like, for example, for me, if Draco wants to go to school at some point, great. We can try that, absolutely. But for right now, it's working out really well for me and him, and so we'll keep going as long as it makes sense. Teacher Pay Teacher and Pinterest. Yes, I've been on there. I've been on those sites. For sure. Impractical Jokers. Yes, I did an episode of Impractical Jokers. When was that? A while back. I think it aired, gosh, has it been a year since we shot it? Something like that. So it aired probably a little less than a year ago. And it was just a part of James Murray's punishment. He had to interview me. I was his high school crush. And so he was mortified. He was in a Speedo. It's a long story, but it was pretty funny. Your daughters love my sugar pie very... Oh, cool. Yes, I wrote a song about the digits of pi, and pi is equal to 3.1415926535897. So I dressed up like a fairy and like a fairy princess or whatever, and had a lot of fun with that. That's on the Nerdist website. You can just go to the YouTube and type in Danica McKellar Pie Fairy, and you'll find it. Avril Lavigne video, rock and roll. Yes, that was pretty cool. I got to be in Avril Lavigne's music video called Rock and Roll about 2 years ago, and we had a very sweet kiss on screen. Very sweet little chaste kiss. Nothing graphic. Yeah, so that's it. I hope that I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. I hope this has been useful to you, and I will see you again very soon on the Danny Cam. You are the D Squad. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.